way to the top. Now what she's up against is folks lying about her.
From a graffiti artist's late-night adventure that turned into a nightmare, to a hiker's chilling discovery of a massive footprint near Mount Shasta that might finally prove Bigfoot's existence, and even a creepy backyard dweller, these are some of the most unsettling moments ever captured on camera. Just a week ago, a video popped up on TikTok from the account Dark Mysteries 8, and honestly, what it captured is just disturbing. It's from a graffiti artist who decided to check out a local abandoned building deep in the woods. Everything was going fine until it wasn't. After finishing his artwork, the artist began exploring the wooded area. That's when his camera caught something disturbing. A strange figure perched on the roof of the abandoned building. Naturally, no one should have been there, but there it was. And that was just the beginning. Terrified, he tried to get out of there and ran right into the figure again. This time, it was walking toward him. That was the last straw. He bolted after that, and the video ends there. Honestly, it looks like something straight out of a horror movie. Whatever it was definitely keeping tabs on him. Probably not thrilled about him painting on those walls. It looked humanoid, but off. Slow movements, weird stare. The whole vibe was just unsettling. Makes you think of Slender Man, that tall, faceless figure rumored to haunt forests and stalk hikers. However, now one thing's for sure. I doubt this guy's going back there anytime soon. Some say they roam our woods, hiding in the shadows. Others say they're just rumors. But this Facebook post from the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization might just shock both skeptics and believers alike. The photo was taken by a hiker near Mount Shasta who discovered a massive footprint in the ground. At first glance, it looks humanoid. We can make out toes and a heel, just like a human foot. But then, why is it so huge? The depth of the print also suggests whoever made it was massive and bulky. Logically, most people, including the Rocky Mountain organization, believe this could be evidence of Bigfoot. And honestly, it sure looks like it. Adding to the mystery, a commenter on the same post shared a similar sighting near Sunset Falls, Washington. He found a footprint just as massive, about 3 inches deep. Comparing it to his nephew's foot, size 8, it was roughly twice as big. Of course, there are skeptics who think it's fake. They point out that people often find just one footprint, which could easily be made with a wooden pattern or some other trick. That seems reasonable. But consider this: the area of soft ground is usually limited, and the rest is too hard to hold a clear print. Plus, making an imprint that deep would require a huge amount of pressure, pretty hard to fake. Seeing evidence like this makes me wonder if there really is another species quietly slipping through the cracks of our forests, watching us without being seen. Ever since the 2019 pandemic, things have felt off. The weird stuff seems to be showing up more often, and it's like it doesn't even care about being seen anymore. That's exactly what happened to this driver after a long shift, except what his dash cam caught left him seriously freaked out.
Just look, there's no one here. Look at my left camera.
From the front dash cam, it looks like there's nobody on the road, but switch to the side camera, and you see a big figure with one arm missing appears out of nowhere. It's the kind of thing that makes you do a double take, like some glitch in the Matrix. Of course, skeptics pointed out that the side angle isn't wide, so it's possible someone walked up to the truck while it was stopped. The building blocks the view from the left, so you can't see who or what might have come from that direction. That's a fair point. But still, the way this thing just suddenly gets that close, plus the missing arm, it's oddly unsettling. What do you think? A trick of the camera, a person in bad lighting, or something else entirely? Hiking can be fun and exciting, but for this couple, it turned into one of the scariest decisions of their lives. The clip comes from a TikTok account called Tom's Foolery 96, where they shared footage from a couple's hiking trip. At first, everything seemed normal, just a peaceful walk in the woods, taking in the views, until they caught something on camera they definitely weren't supposed to.
I see, it's right there.
Run! In the distance, they spotted a massive creature. It's covered in thick, dark, brownish fur, just standing there. And judging by the trees and terrain around it, this thing looks huge. Now, some people argue it could have been a bear, or maybe even an ape. But here's the problem with that. This video was filmed in Canada, and we all know there aren't any wild ape populations there. As for it being a bear, the body shape looks way too wide and bulky to match. That leaves us with one possibility. Maybe this really was Bigfoot. If so, these hikers may have captured one of the rarest and creepiest sightings ever caught on camera. If you ask someone in Mexico about the scariest places around, chances are Maria's grocery store will be on their list. And this video shows exactly why.
Qué miedito.
Ahí pasó algo arriba.
No se ubica ya nadie. Ay, no, me da miedo lo que pasa ahorita acá. Ay, yo me ubico acá.
This is the window of the infamous Maria's grocery store, a place rumored to be haunted by a shadow figure. In the footage, you can clearly see the figure moving inside the window, even though the store has been closed for a long time. According to the cameraman, the figure moves but makes no sound, no footsteps at all. He even shows the storefront in the daytime, proving it's completely shut down with barriers across the doors. But once night falls, the shadow returns, moving around behind the glass.
Está cerrada la verdulería. ¿Será una señal que dicen ustedes? Hoy no se ve nada. ¿Qué pensás de eso?
¿De la persona que pasó?
And it doesn't stop there. In another recording, the uploader claims he saw a group of people leaving through the store's back door, all of them staring at him in a really unsettling way. But when he walked up to the spot, the metal door was still locked tight.
De la verdulería. Que venían entrando, que ahora descubrí por dónde entran, que es por esta puerta, esta de acá. Esta puerta.
The whole thing is just bizarre. The building is closed down, yet shadows move inside. And for some reason, the lights are still on at night. Skeptics say it could just be a prank. Maybe someone set up a cardboard cutout on a motor to spook the locals. But if it's not that, then maybe Maria's grocery store is hiding something we were never meant to see. A search and rescue team in North Carolina was scanning a lake on October 12th when they caught something that blew up the whole internet. What you see is an illuminated being moving on all fours, sprinting across the water at incredible speed. The person filming was part of the rescue crew, and they were actually chasing this thing by boat, but still weren't able to keep up with it. It looked like a humanoid, leaving a glowing trail as it flashed across the surface. By the look of it, the uploader insists it's not CGI or a hologram, and the footage doesn't show obvious irregularities that scream fakery. If it isn't fake, then what could it be? One theory I found is astral projection, the idea that consciousness can leave the body and travel in a separate astral form. Maybe what we're seeing is some kind of astral figure sprinting on the water. Weird idea, I know. Either way, the real head-scratcher is, why were these rescuers chasing it? Chasing something that looks this otherworldly is the last thing you'd expect from a trained team. Creepy as hell, and honestly, pretty hard to forget. A family in Paris, California was getting ready to come home from vacation when their security camera sent a notification that someone was in their backyard. What they saw when they checked the footage made their blood run cold. The camera recorded a tall, strange figure lurking in the backyard. It appeared to be wearing a long coat and a hat, and in its hand was either a blade or some kind of disturbing deformity. But the creepiest part was how it looked straight into the camera, almost as if it was challenging it or wanting to be seen. Now, both the family and viewers are terrified after watching this footage, with many already calling the figure Creepy Krueger. Following the incident, police are on the lookout and urging people to remain cautious and call 911 if they encounter this individual. I live in California myself, and watching something like this is absolutely terrifying. The last strange video we covered also came from California, showing that glowing, illuminated being. And now this? There's definitely something unsettling happening here, that's for sure. These guys were making a challenge video, only to realize the footage also captured something truly disturbing.
Rápido, yo te veo rápido, ey, rápido. Es rápido, sí, dura.
Sí, de una.
While they were filming the challenge, the camera caught a strange woman's face peeking in the background. It gets absolutely chilling when you learn that, according to the person who recorded it, the face looks like his sister who passed away 3 years ago. Zooming in, the figure's face appears very pale and unnaturally young, matching the ghostly descriptions the family remembers. I can't help but find that face a little demonic looking. Could it be a demon disguised as his sister to lure him in for who knows what? You never know. When you think you know a lot, something shows up that sends you a few steps back, like this sighting of one of America's most enduring cryptid legends. Deep in the wetlands of Batstow Swamp, 2 hunters reported a chilling encounter while tracking deer at dusk. They claimed to hear heavy wing beats, followed by a piercing shriek, and one of them snapped a blurry photo of what appeared to be a gaunt, winged figure above the tree line. Shaken, they believed they had seen the legendary Jersey Devil. The Jersey Devil has haunted New Jersey's Pine Barrens for over 250 years. Born from folklore about Mother Leeds's cursed 13th child, a baby that transformed into a horned, winged beast. Over the centuries, countless people, from farmers to police officers to local officials, have testified about strange screams in the night, mutilated livestock, and fleeting shadows darting through the pines. While skeptics dismiss it as myth or simple misidentification, believers argue that the swamps conceal something far darker. This new photo has reignited debate, suggesting the infamous creature may still stalk the wilderness. Honestly, if that photo's real, it's creepy as hell and hard to shake off. Stuff like this makes me wonder if the old Jersey Devil stories might hold more truth than we'd like to believe. Imagine you're minding your own business when suddenly something extraterrestrial tries to talk to you. This is exactly what happened to this guy, and the internet is losing it.
What am I hearing on my radio? This shit creeping me the f*** out.
As this guy was heading to work, his car radio started playing strange noises that sounded like they were coming from an extraterrestrial source. He was pretty confused, and the sounds continued for an entire minute. If this had only happened to him, we could write it off as a radio malfunction, but other people in the comments reported the same thing happening to them. That makes it look like someone, or something, was trying to contact us through the radio. However, I also heard about 3, IATLAS, an interstellar object, a comet-like rock that came from outside our solar system and was first reported by the Atlas Survey in July 2025. Some people have jumped to the idea that it might be trying to contact Earth and that these radio sounds are the result. Whatever the explanation, one thing is clear: something out there is trying to tell us something. We've all seen our fair share of strange cloud formations, but this one just takes the cake. This was captured by a local on their way to work when they noticed what looked like a boat floating in the sky. Yes, it's a cloud, but the illusion is so striking it almost appears as if tiny people are riding on a racing boat, cutting through the heavens. And it didn't happen just once. A second formation appeared shortly after, looking fainter but eerily similar, shocking everyone who witnessed it. After doing some digging, I found out this is actually a known cloud phenomenon called Kelvin-Helmholtz clouds. They form when 2 layers of air move at different speeds, the lower layer moving slower, while the upper layer moves faster. This speed difference causes the clouds to roll into wave-like shapes, almost like ocean breakers in the sky. Because of their rare and dramatic appearance, they're sometimes nicknamed wave clouds, or even cloud surf. Still, while science explains it, this particular sight looks so surreal on video that it almost feels unnatural. What do you think? Just a rare sky phenomenon, or something more? This girl was just chilling in her kitchen when the unknown decided to mess with her, and her security camera captured it all. As she walks out holding a plate, something unseen suddenly yanks her hair with such force that she collapses onto the ground. That alone is creepy enough, but viewers also noticed something else: a dark shadow reflected in the kitchen window in the background. Even stranger, the security camera itself seems to shift slightly. I don't know if it was an automatic feature, but the way it moved makes it seem as though whatever was there didn't want to be recorded while causing this mischief. It's definitely unsettling, especially the thought that the unknown isn't just watching, but can also physically harm you if it chooses. After seeing this, I don't think I'll be going for late night snacks anytime soon. This next video comes from a live television broadcast where commentator Angela Rice was giving an interview via Zoom, alone at home until something terrifying appeared in the background.
Talking about her sleeping her way to the top. Now what she's up against is folks lying about her border record.
While she was on the call, a strange, alien-like figure briefly peeks into frame, notices her moving, then retreats. The shape looks odd and otherworldly, and according to Angela, she was home alone at the time. She also says every door and window was locked, so no stray animal or obvious intruder should have been able to access the area. What makes it even more unnerving is that this happened live in front of hundreds of thousands of viewers. The idea that something could appear on camera during a live broadcast and then vanish is genuinely chilling. It feels like whatever this is might be getting bolder, or maybe just tired of staying hidden.
Her way to the top. Now what she's up against is
living in 2025. If you still believe there's no such thing as extraterrestrial life, you've been living under a rock, and this video might prove you wrong. It comes from a TikTok user named Kimpanoma, who claims a strange, rock-like object landed in his backyard, calling it an interplanetary victory. He put the object in his locker, but when he came back after 72 hours, he discovered something really strange.
Wow, estás grande. Me das miedo.
According to the owner, at first, the object looked like an ordinary meteorite, but then in the video, it began to move, its surface taking on a disturbingly unnatural appearance. According to the uploader, on day 1, the thing looked greenish yellow and gelatinous. Later, it darkened into a sticky black coating. By the 3rd day in the footage, it no longer resembled anything we've seen before, shifting and writhing in an eerie, unnatural way. The man also reported a strong odor, like burning, that worsened over time. He claims he contacted a local university, but no officials ever responded. This definitely doesn't look like an AI fabrication. There are no obvious editing artifacts, which is why I think a research center or government lab should investigate. We don't know what it could transform into next. This next video was captured by a homeowner recording a house fire, but the focus soon shifted to something truly bizarre.
Vallahi o yaktı galiba. Taş at.
Bak kaçıyor şimdi.
The footage, uploaded to YouTube, appears to show a tall, slender figure moving in front of the massive blaze. The figure looks lanky, humanoid, but unnaturally tall. You can gauge its size even though the video was filmed from far away. Still, seems abnormally large. Viewers quickly began speculating, with some calling it a skinwalker and others suggesting it could be a shapeshifter. But personally, I think the explanation might be more grounded. To me, it looks like just a person, possibly the homeowner, distraught as they watch their house burn. Another possibility is that it could have been someone struggling with mental health issues. As for the unusual size, that could easily be the result of camera angles and perspective. Still, no matter what the explanation is, it's undeniably strange to see a figure moving like that. against the backdrop of such a destructive fire. This guy was always fascinated by the paranormal, spending much of his childhood exploring haunted places, but he never found any real proof until a family photo changed everything. This picture was shown to him by his brother, and what it reveals looks straight out of a horror movie. In it, you can see their grandfather alongside his 11 siblings, all gathered for a reunion in front of the one-story home where they grew up. Everyone who attended that day is visible in the frame, and the house behind them was supposed to be completely empty. Yet, in the left-hand window, something unusual appears. Zooming in, you can see a little girl clutching a doll and staring directly at the camera. The eerie part is that no one under the age of 60 was present at that reunion, making the sight even more unsettling. To this day, the family has no explanation for who that girl was or why she was there. Some believe the girl wasn't of this world at all, but skeptics have offered another explanation. They argue it could have been just a child who somehow went unnoticed by the older relatives. In a group that large, memories can blur, and if the child wasn't the focus, it's possible nobody recalled her later on. This is also why eyewitness testimony is often unreliable. Still, the photo remains chilling, and perhaps there's more to it than meets the eye. What do you think? If you think a simple photograph can't carry a curse, the tale of the Lancaster witch may change your mind. Back in 1921, a man named Phil A. Galal went into the Pennsylvania woods looking to capture proof of a witch locals whispered about for generations. People said she twisted blessings into curses, and her blurred face was something no one could forget. Galul claimed he found her near a weathered barn. She warned him not to take her picture, but he clicked the shutter anyway. That same night, he collapsed and died, leaving behind just one haunting photo. Her figure clear, but her face warped like it refused to be seen. After that, tragedy seemed to stalk anyone tied to the image. Jalil's wife fell into a strange illness. A collector's barn burned to the ground, and a college student who borrowed the picture was killed in a car crash after mocking her blurred face. Locals began to whisper that the curse was real, and that the witch's warning still lingers in the photograph. To this day, a lot of people still won't even glance at the photo, scared it might bring the same bad luck. But after digging around a bit, I came across claims that it was actually just someone's grandma on her Catskill farm, not a witch at all. Still, knowing that doesn't make it less creepy. I mean, I've got the picture saved on my laptop right now while I'm writing this, and honestly, it kind of makes me nervous for my own safety. This guy was casually riding his dirt bike in remote Western Australia when his GoPro captured something he'll regret for the rest of his life. Pausing at the exact 10-second mark, when he looks back, you can clearly see a strange figure standing in the distance. Dressed entirely in white, the figure appears tall, with a pale face, long dark hair, and holding something that looks like a staff. The sight is undeniably eerie. It almost resembles a witch. Commenters also were quick to call the writer lucky that the being didn't attach itself to him, but of course, there are skeptics, myself included, who think it might just be a person. Maybe someone with white makeup on their face, long black hair, and either ceremonial clothing, or perhaps even the remnants of old pioneer or settler clothing. Still, at the end of the day, we can only speculate unless someone is brave enough to return to that location and capture this figure up close. The real question is, would you dare to go? This guy was taking a picture of a rare pulpit in the woods behind his friend's house when he noticed something that terrified him to his core. This post was uploaded on the r/humanoid encounter subreddit by a user whose story really unsettled viewers. In the post, he uploaded a photo claiming that while taking pictures of a rare jack-in-the-pulpit in the woods behind his friend's house in Valparaiso, Indiana, he heard a strange noise and quickly snapped a photo. However, what he captured was nothing short of a nightmare. At first, nothing seemed unusual, but after editing the image, something eerie appeared. There were two shining eyes staring straight back at the camera, and they were at a pretty significant height. According to the uploader, he felt a presence at the time, but brushed it off. However, after seeing the edited picture, everything became horrifyingly clear. Now, it does seem pretty unsettling, and I know most viewers will probably think it's some kind of cryptid, but I'm a bit skeptical about it. You see, why was the guy taking a picture of a rare plant in the middle of the night with his flash on? I mean, wouldn't it make more sense to wait until morning to snap the picture? Also, if that's the case, this could very well just be an animal like an owl, or two reflective spots that ended up looking like eyes, because our brains are wired to look for faces. This girl was just walking her dog at night when it suddenly froze, but what the recording later revealed was pure nightmare fuel. This video was uploaded on YouTube and shows a girl walking her dog at night. However, unbeknownst to her, something else was lurking nearby. In the footage, we can see it's pretty dark, and she's walking her dog along a trail. The dog seems distressed by something in the woods. The girl didn't notice anything at the time, but when she later reviewed the footage, she was horrified.
Come on, Bruce.
There was a strange masked figure standing among the trees, seemingly stalking them from the dark. The dog appears to react to this presence, clearly disturbed and alert, and it focuses on the same tree behind which the figure is hiding. The terrifying part is, the girl has no idea it's there. This could very well be a fake, but it could also mean this girl was in serious danger, being stalked by someone in such a dark and isolated place. And honestly, this is exactly why I avoid going on walks at night, especially in places like that, because you never know when the unknown decides to take an interest in you.
See the movement? Right there.
This video comes from TikTok and is being called by many as proof of Bigfoot's existence. In the video, we see CCTV footage showing a quiet, forested area until something strange happens. As one of the dogs barks, sensing danger, something moves in the woods. If you look closely on the left side of the pole, you can see the bushes rustle, almost like something got startled and moved away when it heard the bark. According to the uploader, this might have been Bigfoot, but personally, I don't believe that, at least not without further proof. It's just some movement in the bushes, which could easily be any animal. Plus, there's no clear sign of black fur or a humanoid shape to confidently say it's Bigfoot. Still, it does raise some questions. What was standing so still in the bushes? And why did it run the moment the dog barked? That part, I have to admit, is a little strange.
Keep watching. See the movement? Right there.
Living in 2025, if you still don't believe in aliens, this next video might just shake your beliefs. This video was uploaded on Instagram on June 18th and shows dashcam footage from a driver. In the video, we can see the driver cruising down an empty road when suddenly a strange flying object with lights flies above him. At first, it seems like a drone until it zips ahead like a rocket and vanishes into the night. I know most of us are thinking it's clearly a drone, and honestly, that's what I thought at first too. But I don't know any drone that moves this fast and disappears in the blink of an eye like that. Plus, it looked more like a saucer with those lights circling its perimeter. Not everything in this world has an explanation, and this video definitely looks like it needs one. If you think the mountains are serene and silent at night, wait until you hear the Appalachian Mountains cries when no one's there. The Appalachian Mountains stretch like a green ocean of rolling peaks, cloaked in mist, and ancient forests that whisper tales of time. Their untouched beauty, especially at sunrise, feels like stepping into a forgotten world. This now viral video was uploaded to Instagram on June 22nd, and ever since, it's been haunting hikers and mountain lovers alike. It comes from a camper documenting his journey deep in the Appalachian Mountains of West Virginia. However, on what looked like another calm, snowy night, he heard something that turned his trip into a living nightmare. As he camped, he began hearing strange sounds, what seemed like a child calling out for their dad, crying for help. The voice sounded like a kid, but something about it just didn't feel right. How could a child have ventured this far into the wilderness? And in that freezing cold, it just didn't add up. And this isn't an isolated case. Something similar has happened before in the Appalachian Mountains, and the most well-known example is the Mothman sightings. Mothman, Appalachia's most iconic cryptid, was first reported in the 1960s near Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Witnesses described him as a winged humanoid with glowing red eyes. His sightings came just before the tragic collapse of the Silver Bridge, leading many to believe he was either a mutated being or a harbinger of doom. Today, the Mothman lives on in pop culture, inspiring everything from books and films to themed ice cream sundaes and even pizzas. But locals will tell you, the stories run much deeper than legend. People have lived in these mountains for generations, and many will beg you to believe. There are things in these ancient woods older than dinosaurs, things that don't want to be seen. Since 1974, hundreds have gone missing or been found dead along the Appalachian Trail. And if you ask those who know the land best, they'll tell you the official numbers barely scratch the surface. Out here, when you hear a voice in the night, no, you didn't. This season's skipper saw something so massive on sonar, it shattered his beliefs, and left him fearing what truly lurks below. It was May 2nd, 1933, when news channels ran wild with a photograph that shocked the world. It showed a black and white image of what appeared to be an elongated head rising from the water's surface, something that looked like a massive creature. This sighting later became known as the infamous Loch Ness monster. However, that image was eventually proven to be a hoax, but that didn't stop believers and enthusiasts. They continued searching, investigating, and holding on to the legend of Nessie. And now, it seems we may have some terrifying new leads. A seasoned Loch Ness skipper, Sean Sloggy, recently caught his crew's attention by detecting an unusually large, elongated object on sonar, about 98 meters below the surface. It immediately brought back thoughts of the legendary Nessie. The sonar images, along with Sean's description, mentioning air pockets and distinct features, have reignited global interest in the monster of Loch Ness, a creature deeply rooted in decades of folklore and eyewitness accounts. Another witness, Chi Kelly, a 52-year-old translator, took 71 images of a strange creature in Loch Ness. She kept them hidden for years, fearing ridicule. Now those photos have been released and analyzed by a podcast. And what they show is something undeniably moving through the water. Despite the history of hoaxes, these images have reignited public curiosity. Despite all that, I still think it's no surprise tourists keep flocking to the loch, chasing even the faintest chance of spotting the legendary beast, with theories ranging from escaped amphibians to misunderstood natural phenomena. The mystery refuses to die. And honestly, even with all the investigations and secret photos finally coming to light, the truth still feels just out of reach, which is exactly why the legend keeps pulling people in, including me. Our forest hides many secrets, and this university student stumbled upon one of its darkest ones. This incident was covered on a paranormal theories forum called Ghost Theory, where people usually upload UFO, cryptid, and paranormal sightings. However, this one, in particular, really caught everyone's attention. It was uploaded on May 21st, 2012, and showed a few pictures taken by a university student named Helen Murray near Hackney marshes in London. But they weren't just serene forest clicks. Instead, they revived a 30-year-old terrifying local legend. According to her, she captured these pictures after spotting a large, shaggy black creature, which at first glance she thought was a loose bear. She instantly took some photos before fleeing in fear, and in them, we can see exactly what she was talking about. There's a big, black, hunched creature that seems to be either walking or doing something on the ground. At first look, it resembles a gorilla, but as far as we know, London doesn't have a wild gorilla population. She also managed to snap a few hasty photos that show the beast walking on all fours. After seeing the evidence, people are calling it the Beast of Hackney Marshes, though the photos remain too unclear for experts to properly analyze. The original sighting dates back to December 27, 1981, when 4 children reported encountering a large, growling, hairy creature that stood on its hind legs. Their terror led to a large-scale police search involving dogs, marksmen, and even a helicopter, but no creature was ever found, only strange, bear-like tracks in hard-to-reach areas. The mystery deepened when decapitated bear carcasses were discovered in the River Lea a year earlier. Honestly, the more I read about it, the harder it is to believe this was just a prank. Between the inaccessible prints, the missing heads, and the genuine fear from the kids, it feels like something much stranger was prowling those marshes. The world is divided. Those who believe Bigfoot exists and those who don't. But no matter which category you fall into, this video is sure to shock you. This video comes from Sunny Vader's YouTube channel and was uploaded on May 20th, 2025. It was recorded by a couple who were out camping in Corral Creek Canyon, Alberta. As they were packing up their camp to head out, they spotted something truly bizarre. Their camera managed to capture what appears to be a tall bipedal creature walking among the trees. At first glance, it looks like a bear or an ape, but there's no known wild ape population in Alberta, and bears don't typically walk upright for that long, especially not with such a humanoid posture. The creature was massive and, according to the couple, kept moving around the area for nearly a minute before it eventually faded into the forest. You can clearly see the sheer size, especially the width of this thing. It's completely covered in thick, black fur. The couple is convinced it was Bigfoot, and honestly, judging by the footage, it's hard to disagree. After this encounter, the couple has become firm believers in Bigfoot, and I don't blame them. These creatures, long considered elusive myths, are now being captured on camera more frequently around the world, pushing more and more people to question what's really out there. What are your thoughts? Are you a believer or a denier? After watching this next video, I bet you'll think twice before going for a drive at night. If you don't believe in the dreaded Mexican folklores, just ask these people who captured El Charro Negro on camera.
¡A la madre, güey! ¡No mames, güey!
This video was uploaded to a channel called Vulture Face 2 years ago, with no description at all. But what's in it was more than enough to terrify everyone who watched. In the clip, the cameraman is filming what appears to be a graveyard, but it's not the graveyard he's focused on. It's what appears next that's the real horror.
¿Quién eres?
Están hablando, güey.
As he continues filming, the camera suddenly captures a dark figure on horseback, moving in the distance. The figure can be briefly seen passing behind sheds, and judging by the cameraman's voice, you can hear his fear explode the moment he spots it.
¡A la madre, güey! ¡No mames, güey!
The figure appears to be completely black, wearing a cowboy hat, and riding a horse through the graveyard. According to the uploader and many commenters, this was none other than El Charro Negro. In Mexican folklore, El Charro Negro is a sinister, shadowy horseman who often appears at night, offering wealth or power in exchange for your soul. Seeing him is considered a bad omen, especially if you accept his deal. Honestly, these guys were lucky they only saw him from a distance, because if El Charro rode up to them and made an offer, let's be real, I don't think they would have had the strength to say no. What would you do if something like that showed up right in front of you? This guy was just out for a late night walk when he saw something that nearly made his heart stop. A user by the name Firewind Refuge uploaded a 30-second video to the r/cryptid subreddit, asking the community what on earth he had just seen while taking a night walk in West Virginia, an area long rumored to be Mothman territory. He heard rustling in the bushes nearby. He pulled out his camera to investigate, and what he captured next was pure horror. As he panned the camera around, the lens caught two glowing eyes staring directly back at him from within the brush, reflecting the light from his flashlight. The eyes were unusually close together, which confused him and made him wonder if he had just stumbled upon the terrifying Mothman himself. Interestingly, another Redditor had recently posted a close-up video claiming it showed Mothman, but that clip was later identified as likely being just a colugo, or possibly a bat. Now, the commenters are divided. Some believe it's nothing more than a curious deer caught in the light, but others, including myself, feel there's something eerily wrong about the way it was staring. Here's my theory. I think there's a slight, and I mean slight, chance this could be a Hopkinsville goblin. Why? Because if it were truly Mothman, its eyes would have been glowing red, which they clearly weren't. The Hopkinsville goblin, on the other hand, fits this encounter a little too perfectly. Whatever it was, I'd bet good money that the cameraman won't be going out for another night walk anytime soon. If you thought only fictional characters could have superpowers, wait until you see this next video from Mexico. This video was originally uploaded to Facebook and shows what appears to be a human, or maybe something else entirely, with supernatural abilities. In the footage, we see a car parked near a house and a fire blazing nearby. It looks like a fire has broken out, but then something truly strange happens. A humanoid figure is seen walking through the flames as if it's completely normal. It casually strolls out of the fire, showing no signs of distress, pain, or even urgency. At first glance, the figure looks like a child in humanoid form, but its body proportions, head shape, and overall movements are off, almost alien-like. But the real mystery here is how it's walking through open flames like it's nothing. Some people online are calling it a firebender, jokingly referencing superpowered characters. But to me, it feels like something darker. The way it walks so calmly through fire, like it belongs there, gives off serious demonic vibes. If it's not a special effect or some bizarre camera glitch, then it might be something we're not ready to understand. There's nothing terrifying about taking a group selfie with your girls, right? Well, only until the unknown decides to photobomb you. This photo was uploaded to Instagram, and at first glance, it looks like a fun, casual selfie of a group of girls just posing and enjoying themselves, until you notice what's in the background. When you zoom in, you'll see a terrifying ghostly figure standing behind them, smiling maniacally at the camera. The figure appears to be a girl around the same age as the group, but her twisted expression and unblinking stare are enough to send chills down anyone's spine. Now, I don't know about you, but my first guess is that it could be one of the girls from the group playing a prank, or maybe they're all in on it, just trying to get some views. But there's something off about that expression. Something dark in her face that doesn't feel like a joke. It feels evil, like she's staring straight into your soul. That's the kind of thing nightmares are made of. This German tourist was out enjoying a peaceful day at the beach when he saw something that just didn't make any sense.
Looks like some fish.
This footage was uploaded to Instagram 8 weeks ago by a German tourist who was relaxing on a beach near the Golden Gate Bridge when something strange washing ashore startled him.
Looks like some fishing line.
It appeared to be a shark-like creature with spikes along its back and a long, oddly horizontal face. On top of its head was a hole with strange appendages and what looked like a fishing net tangled around its body. At first glance, it looked like a shark, even to the tourist, but the more you look at it, the more disturbing it becomes.
It smells so bad. Looks like some...
If you ask me, it's probably just a hammerhead shark that got stuck in a fishing net, died, and was then partially eaten by other predators. The opening on its head is actually its mouth, and the fish is upside down, which makes it look even weirder. Yes, it's a known species, but the condition of its body makes it look absolutely terrifying. And it's also a harsh reminder of how brutal fishing nets can be to marine life, and why we should never leave them behind in the ocean. This Instagram user was just roaming around in his backyard when she spotted something that shocked the entire internet. The post was shared about a year ago by the Chilling Scary Instagram page. According to them, the user who submitted it claimed that her mom had built a small walkway leading into the forest behind their house. She took this serene photo to send to her brother, but when she zoomed in, she was horrified by what she had accidentally captured. Standing between the trees is a strange figure. Now, at first glance, you might think it's just a tree stump or branch growth, but if you look closer, you'll notice the color and texture of the surrounding trees are completely different. This figure is gray, shadowy, and pale, and it seems out of place. According to the user's daughter, it wasn't anyone from the family, nor did it resemble a person or an animal. The lighting, color, and even the resolution of the figure look wrong, almost as if it didn't belong in the photo at all. As the picture went viral, the cryptid hunters on cryptids jumped into action. But instead of analyzing just the original figure, one Redditor made an even more chilling discovery. He uploaded the same photo, but this time he pointed out another figure, this one standing further in the background. According to him, it was really huge, and if you look closely, you can even see a white face peeking through the darkness. Now, I know, calling it Bigfoot might be a stretch, but there's definitely something dark lurking in the shadows, and based on its size, it looks monstrous. Sure, it could just be a bird, and maybe the first figure is nothing more than bushes, triggering pareidolia, our brain's tendency to see patterns that aren't there. But two creepy coincidences like that, in the same photo, That's pretty unusual to say the least. They say if you're ever alone in the woods and hear someone calling, don't look back, just run. And this video might show you why.
Closer to it. Bro.
This video was uploaded to Reddit by a user who was out on a night fishing trip with his friends in Carlton, Michigan, hoping to catch some catfish. While he and a buddy were getting ready to sleep in the car, their friends, still on the boat, called in a panic, saying they saw something crouching and moving near the shoreline. They crashed the trolling motor, trying to rush back. Curious, the uploader stepped out with a high-lumen flashlight to see for himself, and that's when he saw the terrifying thing they were talking about.
Dude, get up closer to it.
The camera captures what looks like a small, pale being extending its limb around a 3-foot-wide bush effortlessly. It appears to be trying to hide, but its movements give it away. The moment the uploader saw it, he ran back to the car, and they locked themselves inside for the entire night.
Bro. Oh.
According to the uploader, he believes it might be a skinwalker, but I'm not so sure. Skinwalkers are typically known to disguise themselves as animals, foxes, dogs, and other wild creatures. They rarely ever appear openly like this, especially not in their raw humanoid form. So even if it's not a skinwalker, that doesn't make it any less terrifying, because whatever that thing was, it was real, and it was moving. What do you think this creature could be? If you think ghost stories are just superstition, this chilling case might make you think twice. Two months ago, a truly shocking post was uploaded to the r/ghosts subreddit, featuring multiple photos that appear to have captured a real ghost. These photos come from a 1984 car crash in which 4 teenagers crashed near Hyde Park on a foggy night. 3 survived, but the boy in the front passenger seat, 16-year-old John Boulware, tragically died. Officer Brian Coyle was the one who responded to the scene and took several photographs. But when the film was later developed, something truly disturbing was discovered. Some of the photos showed streaks of red and yellow light, but in one specific image, there appeared to be a screaming face hovering just above the driver's side door. Many believe this face is John's. In a side-by-side comparison, the face in the photo shares the same nose and hairstyle as the young boy. Another photo revealed the ghostly outline of a Labrador dog sitting quietly by the wrecked car. Experts who reviewed the photos were baffled, unable to explain how such images appeared. A psychic later told Officer Coyle that the face was John's soul, resisting death, and that the dog was his late pet, who had come to guide him to the afterlife. Even after nearly 40 years, these images continue to stir deep emotion and mystery. It's all incredibly tragic, but I do think there's a possible explanation, though it's unsettling to consider. Based on available details, we know the officer took the photographs while John's body was still in the vehicle. It's very possible that the so-called ghost face is actually the result of a double exposure, a common error in film cameras back in 1984. Especially in low light and stressful situations. The expression might simply be a motion blur or distortion from the impact. While it's absolutely heartbreaking, the eerie image may be a photographic mistake rather than something supernatural. Still, whether it's a trick of the camera or something beyond our understanding, the photo remains a deeply haunting and emotional piece of history. Thus, two friends used the Randonautica app for fun, but their adventure turned dark when the unknown decided to follow.
Why did we just go to this fucking quantum point and this whole fucking person is...
This video comes from two friends who were using the Randonautica app out of boredom. For those who don't know, it's a mobile app that generates random coordinates within a set radius for users to explore, essentially turning your surroundings into a spontaneous adventure playground based purely on chance. But things didn't turn out too well for these two. As they reached a desolate location, the road ahead ended, and that's when they spotted a strange, creepy figure standing in the darkness at the edge of the road. The mysterious figure looked like a boy, but the fact that it was just standing there, completely still in the middle of nowhere, was unsettling enough. What made it worse was when the figure began following them after spotting them, forcing the friends to flee in fear.
Why did we just go to this fucking quantum point and this whole fucking person is...
Some believe it could have been a ghost, a djinn, or something even more sinister. However, there are others, like me, who think there's a chance it could have been someone in need of help. But then again, would you be brave enough to go back and take that chance? We've explored just 5% of the ocean. The rest remains a dark mystery. But this chilling Soviet military encounter may hint at what truly lurks below. In 1982, beneath the icy surface of Lake Baikal, Soviet divers witnessed a series of baffling events that still defy explanation. During a routine mission, they encountered an unusually fast and sleek underwater craft, a USO, unidentified submerged object, moving at impossible speeds. But the real shock came when they spotted silver-clad beings drifting silently in the water. Described as having metallic black bodies, dome-shaped heads, and glowing blue fins, these creatures seemed to observe the divers with calm curiosity. When the team attempted to capture one, a being raised a strange tube-like device, instantly unleashing a violent whirlpool. 3 of the 7 divers died in the chaos. Later dubbed the Lake Baikal swimmers, the beings are believed by some to be aquatic extraterrestrials, capable of living in both fresh and salt water, possibly even a family group on an interstellar visit. Since then, locals have reported strange lights and mysterious creatures in the lake's depths, and to this day, no one truly knows what lives beneath Lake Baikal, or why it might still be watching us. Personally, I believe the divers' descriptions are too specific and consistent to be dismissed as simple hallucinations or underwater panic. Metallic bodies, dome-shaped heads, that eerie calm, and then that tube-like weapon, it all feels more like a warning than a coincidence. Whatever was down there in 1982, I don't think it ever really left. The unknown thrives in darkness, lurking just beyond the light, waiting for the perfect moment to step in, just like in this chilling security footage. This creepy footage comes from a security camera at Okinawa's Kadena Air Base in Japan. It was later reviewed by guards who noticed something that shouldn't have been there. In the video, the area appears empty with only the streetlights on, until a dark shadow suddenly materializes behind a sign. It lingers there for a moment before transforming into a semi-humanoid form and, in a flash, floats over the fence. According to the uploader, this happened on June 28, 2008, and they are convinced that what they saw wasn't a trick of the light or a camera glitch, but something paranormal. And this isn't an isolated incident. A Marine in the comment section also claimed that, while patrolling Camp Futenma after 9/11, he saw a World War II-era soldier approach from a ravine, only to vanish within seconds. He almost chalked it up to exhaustion until he saw the exact same wide-eyed shock on his buddy's face. These accounts are seriously creepy, and I think there's definitely something strange going on at old army bases. This next video will show you why you should always trust your dog's instincts when they start acting nervous. If, beneath the streets you walk every day, there was an entire hidden world, frozen in time, filled with stories of death, disease, and restless spirits. Beneath Edinburgh's busy Royal Mile lies Mary King's Close, a hidden underground street frozen in time. Back in the 1600s, this place was crowded, filthy, and full of narrow alleys where people lived tightly packed in tall buildings. With no proper sewer system, waste was thrown into the streets, attracting rats and fleas. When the Black Death, bubonic plague, hit, it spread rapidly, and many people became sick or died. There's a rumor that the city locked hundreds of people inside to die, but that's not true. In reality, the city tried to help the sick, delivering food and coal to their doors, and even sent a doctor named George Ray. He wore a leather suit and a strange bird-like mask to protect himself and used painful but life-saving treatments, such as burning wounds shut. People continued living there until 1902, when the last resident left. After that, the area was sealed off and forgotten, buried beneath new buildings. It was rediscovered years later, and even used as a bomb shelter during World War II. In the 1990s, it reopened as a tourist attraction. Now, visitors come to explore its dark history and chilling legends. One of the most famous ghost stories is about Annie, a young girl who died from the plague. People say her room feels unusually cold and strange, and many leave her toys and sweets to comfort her spirit. Today, Mary King's Close is known as one of the most haunted places in Scotland. What started as a simple cave exploration turned into one of the most mysterious and chilling stories ever shared online. In 2001, a man named Ted from Utah started a blog to share his experience exploring a cave with his friend Brad. But it wasn't just any cave. Deep inside was a narrow hole that no one had ever passed through. Ted and Brad spent weeks digging, crawling, and slowly breaking their way into the unknown. At first, it felt like just another adventure, but soon, strange things started happening. Their dog, who had always loved going with them, suddenly refused to go near the hole. Ted and Brad began hearing eerie noises, whispers, rumbling, even wind blowing from deep within the cave. They also found odd markings on the walls, unlike anything they'd ever seen. With each return trip, the atmosphere grew heavier. They started feeling like they were being watched. Ted documented everything. Each trip, each sound, each fear. He even shared real photos from the cave, which made people wonder if something supernatural was truly hiding in the dark. The blog gained massive attention over the years, with readers questioning whether Ted and Brad ever made it out safely. But here's the twist. Ted's story, while inspired by a real caving trip, was actually a carefully crafted piece of online fiction. It became one of the first viral creepypastas, scary internet stories told as if they were true. Even today, many still fall for it, not realizing it was designed to blur the line between reality and fear. Still, Ted the Caver was the one story that made me seriously rethink ever going cave exploring with my friends. This bizarre footage comes from a rather unexpected place and an unusual angle.
What is it? It's a person, dude. No, seriously, pull over, pull over.
Sure, the footage is a bit shaky, but it's definitely more intriguing than those usual clips where something barely visible moves among the trees. First, there's no doubt something is actually there, and second, the scale. Whatever this is, it has to be at least 1 to 2 stories tall to be seen from such a distance. Honestly, some forensic expert needs to dig into this and give us the facts. Until then, what do you think we're looking at? This lady got a collection of dolls from a passed away family member and is trying to get rid of them, and you are about to see exactly why.
Interested in that doll, please let me know, because I don't want to keep her, but I'd like her to go to a good home. I mean, if there's somebody out there that's interested, I don't... Did that
Oh my god, that
thing just move?
Oh my god.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? I'd like her to go to a good home. I mean, if there's somebody out there that's interested, I don't...
The head of the doll moved slowly, like it is watching her, listening to what she is saying. I have no idea why people keep these things around in their homes. These guys were having a good time, chilling, laughing, all good vibes. But trust me, that's about to change real quick.
Aí, fim da festa aí, pessoal. Comprei a câmera nova, vamos colocar um vídeo no YouTube aí, ó.
Ai, que vergonha, não faz isso.
A Josi capotada já, com sono. Aí, Thiago, a câmera que eu comprei nova aí.
Bebeu demais.
Vermelhinha e tal. Vocês nem esperaram pra festa aí, né, mano? Meu Deus do céu, que porra é essa, velho?
Okay, so that was creepy, but no need to freak out, right? Someone walking past your window could just be a random passerby. Well, not exactly.
Eu vi alguma coisa aqui, Thiago. Tem alguma coisa que passou aqui, velho.
Ih, velho.
Tô falando sério, cara. Tô falando sério. Vem aqui comigo, cara.
Tem nada aqui não.
Eu vi uma coisa assim, cara.
Tá louco, mano?
Maluco. Maluco. Eu vou voltar a câmera. Eu vou voltar a câmera e você vai ver, velho.
That wasn't outside. That was inside their home. And now I'm just wondering, why aren't they more freaked out? If that were me, I'd be screaming my head off by now.
Vocês nem esperaram pra festa aí, né, mano? Meu Deus do céu, que porra é essa, velho?
Irrespective of how spooky that was, this next one takes the scare factor up a notch. And by a notch, I mean heart-stopping scary. What's up with this woman? The black face paint and those piercing eyes. Yeah, she's definitely going to haunt my dreams tonight, and probably yours too. What's scarier, what you can see or what you can't see? Well, this next clip might just help you decide.
कंडक्टर सीट पे अभी कोई नहीं है, कोई भी नहीं है, लेकिन यहाँ पे कोई ना कोई बैठा हुआ है, पर हमें से कोई दिक्कत परेशानी नहीं हो रही। ये देखो, मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ कैमरे में, सीसीटीवी कैमरे लगे हुए हैं बस के अंदर।
This footage comes from a public transport bus in Delhi, India. Let me translate. The guy is pointing out that no one is sitting in the conductor's designated seat. Seems pretty obvious.
और आप इधर देख सकते हो ये देखो कंडक्टर सीट पे एक व्यक्ति बैठा हुआ है। देखो दिख रहा है आपको, कंडक्टर सीट पे ये व्यक्ति बैठा हुआ है।
That's strange. The CCTV feed shows someone sitting there, clear as day.
ये देखो दोबारा से ध्यान से देख लो, बैठा हुआ है। और मैं जो है आपको दोबारा से कंडक्टर सीट की तरफ ले जाता हूँ और देखो यहाँ कोई भी नज़र नहीं आ रहा कैमरे में। देखो फिर से एक बार और देख लो ध्यान से, कहीं मिस्टेक हो रही हो। बाकायदा इसमें दिख रहा है व्यक्ति बैठा हुआ, ये देखो दिखा आपको। लेकिन ऐसे अगर मैं पीछे करके दिखाता हूँ बस मैं अंदर या कंडक्टर सीट पे, देखो दोबारा से कोई भी नज़र नहीं आ रहा।
But how? Could this be staged? Let's take a closer look at the feed to see if there's anything that proves this CCTV footage is actually live.
देखो दिख रहा है आपको, कंडक्टर सीट पे ये व्यक्ति बैठा हुआ है। ये देखो दोबारा से ध्यान से देख लो, बैठा हुआ है। और मैं जो है आपको दोबारा से कंडक्टर सीट की तरफ ले जाता हूँ और देखो यहाँ कोई भी नज़र नहीं आ रहा कैमरे में।
Could it really be a ghost, or are we looking at an elaborate setup? What do you think? This next one is as fascinating as it is eerie. It's from a Halloween contest run by Ring Camera, where people were asked to send in the most haunting footage captured on their devices. This could either be one of the best produced ghost hoax videos or some of the most compelling evidence of a ghost caught on camera. Honestly, I'm torn. For starters, the lack of a timestamp means we can't confirm it's a continuous feed, and everything seems a little too perfect. But here's the kicker. Would Ring really allow a hoax to make it as an official contest entry? If they vetted it, maybe there's more to it. That figure looks like an apparition. Meanwhile, the woman seems completely real. The chair, it moves by itself. The figure only appears after it's positioned, casually sitting down and sipping from the cup. Here's the thing, the ghostly figure feels oddly believable, while the woman seems like she is acting. Talk about irony, the ghost feels more genuine than the living. So, what do you think? Is this too good to be true, or are we looking at something genuinely unexplainable? Let me know, because I can't decide. Our next clip takes us to Highland, Michigan, where a young family's chilling encounter with the unknown made headlines.
What is it? Is it real? And what is it doing there?
Wondering what she's talking about? Well, take a look.
It's almost like she sees something that we don't.
This is 15-month-old Lily. Adorable, right? But what's happening around her is far from cute.
It's an image Heather and Josh say is haunting their home.
It was chilling. It was literally a chill.
Did you catch that? A ghostly figure walking past, and it wasn't just the camera picking it up. Lily noticed it too.
A few weeks ago, what appears to be something moving in front of the baby crib.
I freaked out. I stopped what I was doing and I ran upstairs and I grabbed my daughter.
If it was just an apparition on the footage, you might dismiss it as a trick of the light. But it's not that simple. There's more.
Heather says this so-called ghost scratched her daughter Lily and attacked her too.
It scares us that it could do something else. I mean, there was even a morning that I woke up and I had felt like something was around like someone's hands were around my neck.
This is every parent's worst nightmare. A ghost scratching your baby and trying to choke you. That's a level of terror that goes beyond scary faces or eerie noises. If it were me, I'd be out of that house immediately. For young parents, the idea of something unseen causing physical harm to their child is a fear that hits too close to home, and it's more horrifying than anything else I can imagine. A man named Jake had been working in the woods, and every time he went in, he would hear strange sounds. However, he never saw anything suspicious. So one day, he decided to go into the woods with his infrared camera to see what was happening. And this is what he ended up capturing. What looked like a scary figure resembling a human and walking like one too was captured on camera, and it surely wasn't Jake since he looked like this on his own camera. But there was one thing: the figure looked different in different clips. In one, it looked like a Bigfoot, and in the other one, it looked like something else entirely. And this had people wondering, was it? Some viewers thought the first figure resembled Bigfoot because it appeared to be covered in what looked like fur, but in the other clip, what appeared was slightly thinner and moved eerily like a human. This led many to believe it wasn't a Bigfoot at all, but something far more terrifying. Possibly a skinwalker or even a rake. Skinwalkers, according to Native American legend, are shapeshifters that can take the form of any animal or human they desire, and that might explain why the figure didn't look the same twice. Others suggested that the pale, crawling version looked more like the rake, a modern urban legend tied to sleep paralysis and woodland sightings. The rake is known for stalking from the shadows, watching, waiting, and sometimes following people home. But whatever it was, it scared Jake so much that he never went to the woods again. On June 16, 2024, a picture was uploaded on Facebook with the title, "Do all Bigfoot species have very long arms?" What it featured was this. It was a huge figure covered in fur with unusually long arms, and that's what caught everyone's attention. Some said their thighs have human dimensions, but their shins are somewhat short, as on a Neanderthal, so their arms hang lower than on a human. But was it really some new kind of Bigfoot with these long arms? Because before this, many hadn't actually laid eyes on this kind. From Patterson Bigfoot to Ohio sightings, all had shorter arms, and none of them were this thin either. So then what was this? The entire build is off. It's thinner, more upright, and those long arms almost look unnatural, which makes you wonder, maybe it wasn't a Bigfoot at all. In 2021, a man decided to go live from his home. Everything seemed normal until it wasn't. While streaming, he turned his camera toward the woods outside his house. Nothing unusual at first, but as he zoomed in, something flashed across the screen. It lasted less than a second, but viewers immediately noticed it. A blurry, smoky figure darting from left to right, moving unnaturally fast. It had the stride of a large bird, almost like a flamingo or ostrich, but its body, translucent, shadowy, hard to explain. People watching the clip back frame by frame weren't sure what to make of it. One commenter said, "Its form is hard to discern, and it seems slightly transparent. Or maybe it just looks like that because it's underneath the light and some camera glare is happening. But whatever the case, I cannot make any guesses." Another said, "When you go frame by frame, it looks like a massive ostrich or emu. But then it got creepier. Someone slowed the clip down and stabilized it, and it didn't help. If anything, the creature started looking less like an animal and more like something otherworldly. And that just got people more scared of what might be lurking in Florida. It looks extraterrestrial. It looks like a rake, to be honest. The person who saw it even said it had pinkish skin, not fur. And that's where things start connecting. Because if this wasn't a bird or just a glitch, what else runs things like that is fast and looks slightly transparent under light. Uploaded on X, this video had many people shocked and others wondering why the uploader even went to that place. The man who recorded the video had been exploring around a tunnel late at night with his friend, not realizing that something disturbing was waiting to happen right at the end of the tunnel.
Hello?
A figure, which looked like a human, peeked out from the side only to go back in a second. But it wasn't just one time it happened, 2 or 3 times before the video cut off.
Hello? Oh my god, no!
Now, the first thought that comes to mind is that it could be just a boy messing around with others, but that's exactly where it gets more scary. If we zoom into the figure, it is clear that it does have a face, arms, and body like a human, but it does not have any facial features. No eyes, no mouth, nothing. It was just a blank face staring straight out of the dark. And that's what had everyone disturbed. Because if it was just some kid messing around, why no face? Why appear multiple times and then vanish back into the shadows without saying a word? Some people even brought up a real-life legend, Charlie No Face, also known as the Green Man. Charlie was a man named Raymond Robinson who suffered a tragic electrical accident as a child, which left him severely disfigured. For years, people in Pennsylvania would spot him walking along a quiet road at night. And over time, the real man turned into an urban legend, a faceless ghost wandering the roads. Now, while Charlie No Face was a real person, sightings like this bring back the fear behind the myth. Because what if some legends don't just fade away? What if they evolve? Alaska has been a hub of mysterious vanishings and weird sightings, and when a man was out at night along with his German Shepherd, he had a similar sighting as well. Needless to say, the dog had sensed it way before the man saw it.
What are you barking at? Holy crap!
The dog was clearly sensing something dangerous, and the man realized this when he laid his eyes on the gray humanoid figure standing very close to him, very still. It was a slim and tall creature, and it did not take people too long to consider this an alien. But was it really? Sure, the figure had that classic gray alien silhouette, thin limbs, tall frame, an unnatural stillness, but there was something off. It wasn't just the way it looked, it was the way it stood, motionless, watching, almost like it was waiting for something. And that theory only gets stronger when you look at what's been happening around Alaska lately. In the past few years, UFO sightings in Alaska have surged, from unidentified objects tracked by military radar to fast-moving crafts seen by commercial pilots. Alaskan airspace has become a UFO hotspot. And what's interesting is these sightings often align with remote, heavily forested areas, the same kind of wilderness where this humanoid was spotted. In 2019, a woman decided to run a 100-mile ultra-marathon through the Hawaiian rainforest. She wasn't alone. Her friend Cassie was running that 4th lap with her, taking live photos along the way. But it wasn't until after the race, while going through pictures, that they noticed this: a dark, cloaked figure moving past Kay in one of the frames. Neither of them remembered seeing anyone else on that strip of trail. And the weird part? There was no one there. Cassie had her full awareness. Kay, though experienced, said she was in pain, intense pain. And then came the legend. After showing the photo to locals, they were told it might have been a night marcher. According to tradition, they would travel at night, leading sacred processions for high-ranking chiefs, and if a mortal saw them, or worse, looked them in the eye, they were marked for death. The only way to survive, as the legends say, is to lie face down in the dirt, showing submission. Kay said she and Cassie were lucky they didn't see the figure at the moment. But still, her unexplained pain, the photograph, the exact location, it all lines up. Late one night, a trail cam caught something strange wandering through someone's backyard. The creature had skinny legs, patchy skin, no fur on its tail, and an almost skeletal face which, of course, had the uploader believe he had just captured a chupacabra. If you don't know what that is, the chupacabra, or goat sucker, is a legendary cryptid from Latin American folklore, known for draining livestock of their blood, especially goats. It first made headlines in Puerto Rico in the 1990s and has since been spotted across the Americas, but not everyone was convinced. For some, it was yote with mange, and for others, looks like a red fox with mange. It could have lost its tail from something else. Red foxes and coyotes can both look similar under night vision, and if you factor in mange, then it's very possible that these pictures could be one of them. Mange causes severe hair loss, making their bodies look thinner, tails disappear, and their skin almost alien-like. In low light, with motion blur and infrared distortion, a sick fox or coyote could easily be mistaken for something far more terrifying. But here's where it gets even weirder. On another Reddit post, a different creature was caught on camera. This time it looked even stranger, with a thin body, weird legs, and the head didn't look like a normal dog or coyote, and it was all over the news as well. And just like the previous sighting, this had people linking it directly to the chupacabra. So maybe it's just wild animals with a disease, but maybe there's more to the legend of the chupacabra than people want to believe. Because the truth is, whether it's real or not, the fear it causes, that's real enough. If you think Australia's wilderness holds no secrets, this story might just change your mind. If you're living in Australia and haven't heard of the yowie, let me give you a quick crash course. Yowies are often described as shy, yet potentially aggressive creatures, covered in dark fur, with flat noses and oversized feet. These towering beings, said to stand between 7 and 12 feet tall, are basically Australia's answer to Bigfoot, deeply rooted in Aboriginal lore, especially throughout Eastern Australia. While scientists remain skeptical due to the lack of solid physical evidence, believers like David Taylor strongly disagree. Back in 2010, yowie researcher David Taylor had an encounter on the Sunshine Coast that would change his life forever. While on one of his usual treks through the forest, he spotted a towering, hair-covered figure. According to Taylor, the creature took 3 massive steps and let out a growl so intense it shook him to the core. He firmly believes it was the infamous yowie. Since that day, Taylor has led the Sunshine Coast Yowie Research Group, organizing expeditions deep into the forest in search of broken trees, strange footprints, and the infamous terrier rock clacks, sharp, echoing rock sounds believed to be signs of yowie activity. In fact, yowie sightings were so widespread during the 1800s that one man even offered a reward for its capture. But none were ever caught. For Taylor and many others, the hunt continues, not just for physical proof, but for recognition. This guy was just scrolling through his friend's group chat when something his friend sent left him absolutely terrified. This photo was recently posted on the paranormal subreddit, showing what appears to be a humanoid figure captured on a trail camera. The uploader said it was originally sent in a shared group chat by one of his friends. And now that it's been shared online, people are freaking out over what this thing actually is. The image shows a frame from a trail camera taken around 9 p.m. and in it, you can clearly see a terrifying humanoid standing in the forest. The figure has distorted limbs, a twisted, tapered arm, and an alien-like head. It looks nothing like a typical human being. As expected, Reddit users were quick to dive in with theories. Some were calling it a skinwalker, while others offered more grounded explanations. One comment by a user named Chaos0328, who identified as a recovering addict, shared a chilling but plausible take. He said it looks exactly like someone struggling with addiction, especially depending on the location and time of year. He mentioned that he's known many addicts who live in rundown areas or tents, and they often look just like that. Honestly, the man might be right, but still, spotting something like that on a trail cam in the middle of the woods, whether it's a supernatural entity or a real person, it's undeniably creepy. A hunter sent his child a strange photo, so eerie, it sent chills down his spine and straight onto Reddit, begging for answers. This eerie image was taken by a hunter using a trail camera and later sent to his kid to show him the horrifying thing he captured. It's a wide-angle shot of the woods, but look closely near the trees. See that? The camera manages to catch a strange bipedal creature with a small, hunched upper body. Its skin looks pale, and the shape, it's like nothing we've ever seen before, almost like a cross between an ostrich and a humanoid. Now, turning on my logical brain for a second, here's a theory. It could be a deer standing on its hind legs to reach tree bark or leaves. The upper half might be hidden in shadow, or the deer may have been leaping away, causing a blur that distorted the front of its body. That would explain the unnatural shape. Another possibility is that it could be chronic wasting disease, a real condition affecting deer. It can cause them to appear disoriented, move unnaturally, and even stand upright for brief moments, giving them that creepy, humanoid look. Still, no matter the explanation, seeing a deer like that, yeah, that's nightmare fuel. Not on my list. This man was simply trying to capture a photo of the Pioneer Tower when he spotted something he never could have imagined. Uploaded 6 months ago on the r/ghost subreddit, this photo shows a portrait shot of the Waterloo Pioneer Tower, but it's what appears in the background that's terrifying everyone. Look closely, down in the bottom right in front of the tree, you can spot something that looks like a white, ghostly figure just standing there. From a distance, it appears to be some strange apparition staring directly into the camera, peeking out in the most unsettling way. It looks seriously creepy, especially with that old tower looming in the background. But luckily, a commenter stepped in and exposed the mystery. They found another photo of the Waterloo Pioneer Tower, this time taken a bit closer to that same tree. And what did they notice? There's a large wound or scar on the tree, a patch where the bark is missing. That exposed wood reflects light differently than the rest of the tree, and under the camera flash, it makes it look like a ghostly white figure standing there. So yeah, it might just be a natural illusion caused by the camera flash hitting that exposed bark. But still, if I were the one taking that photo and saw this later, I'd be locking myself in my room for a couple of weeks. No joke. What if the Japanese wolf never truly vanished? These haunting photos from 1996 suggest exactly that. In 1996, a man named Hiroshi Yagi captured a series of mysterious photos deep within the forested mountains of Chichibu, Japan. At first glance, they looked ordinary, just shots of a wolf roaming in the woods. But then you notice, what the hell is that? The photo shows what appears to be a dog-wolf hybrid roaming the woods. It was a shocking find, especially considering Japan's native wolf was declared extinct back in 1905, after the last known one was shot by hunters. Experts couldn't confirm if the animal in the photo was truly a Japanese wolf or just a hybrid, but its features were eerily familiar. Dr. Yoshinori Imaizumi, a leading expert on the Japanese wolf, examined the photos taken in Chichibu. What he saw stunned him. The creature looked almost identical to the type specimen of the extinct Japanese wolf preserved in a Dutch museum. Despite its messy fur, like it once wore a collar, and its strange lack of fear toward humans, the animal's features matched remarkably well. Short, rounded ears, a low-set body, pronounced whiskers, a black stripe down its back, and a reddish-orange coat with no sign of the typical fourth eye marking. It even had a black-tipped tail and what appeared to be a scent gland on its back, traits either rare or completely absent in dogs. Some believe it was a wolf-dog hybrid, but Dr. Imaizumi couldn't ignore the uncanny resemblance. If it wasn't a true Japanese wolf, then what was it? The odds of a wild wolf's survival were slim. Its forest habitat had been destroyed, rabies was spreading through dogs, and wolves had long been hunted as threats. And if this was real, why was it alone? Wolves need packs to survive. Some say it might have been a pet, or an escaped animal, but still, there's a sliver of hope. Maybe, just maybe, the lost wolf of Japan still roams. This guy was walking through a newly built graveyard at 2 a.m. when he saw something that might just explain why people avoid these places after dark. This video, uploaded as a YouTube short, captures an eerie moment inside a freshly built graveyard in the dead of night. The person filming was there for reasons unknown, but what his camera caught has been haunting him ever since. Out of nowhere, a figure appears. A woman, eerily dressed in white, moving in a way that no normal human should. Her body bends and twists unnaturally. Her movements are jerky and unsettling, as if she were possessed or pulled by invisible strings. And the fact that this is all happening inside a graveyard, that takes the creep factor to a whole new level. Could it be a prank? Maybe. Or perhaps she's under the influence of something stronger, lost in a state of confusion. But there's always that lingering thought. What if it's something far more terrifying? In a place surrounded by the dead, sometimes it's not the living you should fear the most. A group of campers decided to set up in the heart of a dense forest in Arizona. Everything was as normal as a night in the woods could be, until they heard this.
I don't know.
That was a loud screaming.
Joe, listen.
Or like a woman or something. That was a female screaming, Phil.
They heard a deep scream that sounded like that of a woman, moment when they started recording. And while recording, they hear it again.
Please, please, please.
Oh, fuck.
No.
It's not a fucking closer, man.
Oh my God, Phil, it sounds like somebody's being...
curiosity got the best of them, so they went to check it out. But as they got closer, an even louder scream pierced the air. This one closer and even more intense.
Oh my God, Phil, it sounds like someone's being.
Dude, you need to fucking help that fucking person, man. It's supposed to be fucking.
Phil, that sounds like fucking like some scary movie shit.
Fucking middle of nowhere. I have the biggest fucking revolver ever, dude. I can fucking do it.
Fucking first.
Dude, we're in the middle of nowhere.
Dude, that sounds like some haunted ass shit, dude. What happened to the other steel target?
There's two. Wait, what the fuck
There's one right there on the ground.
What the fuck is that?
On the ground.
What the fuck is that? The fuck is what? That right there.
What the f is that?
Dude, that's not normal. No.
Please tell me you guys are fucking with me. Oh! No!
Some claim it was a skinwalker, but if you look closely, there's something lurking behind the trees. While some viewers claimed it's just an owl, it has an eerie, humanoid-like form. The way it watches them from the shadows is enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. What do you think this is? Could this be the legendary creature known as a skinwalker, known to mimic human voices, especially of people in distress, only to lure others deeper in the woods? Back in 2009, northern Minnesota made headlines for something eerie. A hunter was walking through the woods in Itasca County, Minnesota, when he suddenly spotted something strange. This is what he captured. It was huge, dark, and walking upright. And according to him, it wasn't a bear. What the man saw left him shaken so much so that he filed a formal report with the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, or BFRO, one of the most well-known Bigfoot tracking networks in the US. And what makes this case even more interesting is that Minnesota isn't new to Bigfoot sightings. In fact, Minnesota has racked up over 60 reported sightings of Sasquatch, according to BFRO. Most of them come from dense forest-heavy regions like Itasca, Cass, and St. Louis County, places with plenty of cover, wildlife, and miles of uninhabited land. And it makes sense the area has long been associated with strange sounds in the woods, unexplainable tracks, and reports of something tall, hairy, and fast disappearing into the trees. But some locals aren't so convinced. Critics say the hunter may have seen a bear walking on two legs or misjudged something due to lighting and distance. Others think it could have been a hoax, but then again, not every encounter ends with proof. The Minnesota Sasquatch has become somewhat of a local legend. In some towns, it's treated like folklore, a campfire story. In others, it's treated a little more seriously. Some hunters have even reported hearing tree knocks or strange howls echoing through the woods, sounds not linked to any local wildlife. In 2016, a trail camera in Michigan's Upper Peninsula picked up something that has kept people talking ever since. What it shows is a tall, dark figure hunched over, far off in the background of the shot. It looks bulky, humanoid, and covered in fur, exactly what many believe Bigfoot would look like. The trail cam was set up by an Eagle researcher in the Upper Peninsula, and the photo sparked huge debate online and in the news. Some people believe this is real evidence of Bigfoot roaming the remote forests of Michigan. The figure's size, posture, and stride all line up with classic Bigfoot reports. According to a follow-up report, the driver was an experienced hunter who described the figure as thick and wide and all black. He knew it wasn't a bear because he figured once it started moving, especially when it went into the ditch, it should have gone down on all fours. But others think it might just be a person walking in the woods, or even a trick of the camera angle and lighting. So, was this a hiker caught at just the right moment, or another glimpse of something much more mysterious hiding in plain sight? In a post uploaded to Reddit, something strange was caught on a trail camera deep in the woods. According to the uploader, the camera had been placed to monitor wildlife until one night, something reached out to touch it. The still from the trail, Cam shows a large, human-like hand, thick fingers, wide palm, reaching straight toward the infrared light. The strange part? It doesn't look like a bear's paw or any known animal in the area. It's too large and shaped too much like a human hand, but not quite. And if this is Bigfoot, it lines up with a lot of other reports where the creature is known to avoid cameras, or at least become aware of them. Many believe Bigfoot can sense infrared, and this image may be more proof that they don't like being watched. So what do you think? Is this just a raccoon up close, or did a legend just leave a fingerprint? In May 2025, a new Bigfoot sighting came out of Sutton Lake, West Virginia, and it wasn't just a one-time thing. The picture shows a large, upright figure walking through the trees near the lake, covered in dark hair, broad-shouldered, and bulky. It fits the description of Bigfoot almost too well. But what makes this one even more interesting is that it didn't come out of nowhere. According to the rumors, Bigfoot have been circulating for many years and have even inspired the creation of the West Virginia Bigfoot Museum, located in downtown Sutton. People have reported strange howls and even seeing large footprints in the mud going back decades. A Reddit user posted this photo, allegedly taken by a friend in West Virginia, showing a massive footprint in the mud, far larger than any human foot. The toe structure, depth, and spacing all seemed off. Too big, too wide, and if that wasn't enough, people have recorded strange sounds deep in the forests. These high-pitched sounds and distant growls have no known source. Many who live near the area say they've heard these sounds, and they don't match any animal they know. Then there's this post. Even though it's just a photo, it's got everything people look for in a sighting. Unclear features, a brownish silhouette, and just enough fur on its body to get people debating. Locals say Bigfoot has been around these woods for generations, and all this new evidence is just the latest in a long line of encounters. And with Sutton Lake being surrounded by thick forests and miles of remote terrain, it's exactly the kind of place where a creature could stay hidden. Sometimes, trail cams catch more than just deer or raccoons, and this one left even the experts scratching their heads. In October 2024, a night vision camera at Bristol Zoo Project's Bearwood habitat in the UK captured something no one expected. The photo shows a strange four-legged creature with what looks like wings and a horn on its head. It almost resembles a deer, but with wings coming out of its back. It looked too bizarre to be real, but there it was. The zoo experts at Bristol couldn't figure it out either. In fact, they were so confused that they uploaded the image to the internet and asked the public for help. And then people had all kind of guesses. For many, it was some kind of a camera issue due to the movement of the head of the animal. That's possible. Trail cams can distort fast-moving animals, especially in low light, but others weren't so sure. Some viewers pointed out that the wings and shape didn't match any known species, and that's where the theories got more bizarre. Some users said it reminded them of chupacabra sightings. Others suggested this might be a new or undocumented species, possibly one adapted to the deep woods and only caught by accident thanks to the infrared camera. Until we get a clearer shot or another sighting, this thing stays what it is, unexplained. What you just saw was originally posted on TikTok, and it's been freaking people out ever since. In the clip, you see this disturbing humanoid creature slowly crawling toward the camera, and trust me, it's the stuff of nightmares. The creature has hair covering most of its body, except for its completely bald head, making it even more unsettling. But what really gets me are its eyes. Those eyes aren't just looking at you. They feel like they're piercing straight into your soul. The face gives off this sinister, almost evil vibe, like it knows something we don't. Some people are speculating that it might be a Bigfoot. But my God, if they look like this, no wonder they've been hiding from cameras for so long. Whatever this thing is, it's enough to make anyone want to double-check their windows at night. When it comes to cryptids, the list is endless. Fairies, baby dragons, Bigfoot, you name it. But there's one creature that always stands out. One that feels disturbingly close to reality. Werewolves. And what makes it even creepier is that there's evidence suggesting they may have once roamed among us, just like this preserved body, for example. Isn't this terrifying? The image you're looking at comes from the internet and appears to show what looks like the preserved body of a werewolf. In these 3 photos, we see a truly fearsome, predator-like creature with a savage wolf's head. It has long, pointy ears, an elongated snout filled with sharp, thick teeth, and enormous eye sockets that give it an even more menacing look. At first, it resembles a wolf, until you notice the body. This thing has a human-like torso, complete with 2 arms, a ribcage like ours, and it's standing upright, just like a person. Honestly, it looks like something straight out of a science fiction werewolf warrior scene. Wolves on their own are already intimidating, but picture one with human legs and even more ferocious teeth. That's nightmare fuel. It's often said that witchcraft is very real, and that people still practice it in hidden corners of the world. This next video captures what might just be a glimpse into that dark, mystical realm, capturing a supposed witch caught in the middle of something truly bizarre. This footage was taken by a local villager during a late-night round, and he was completely unsettled by what he witnessed. In the video, you can see an old woman, hunched over in an almost unnatural posture, doing something strange on the ground. She looks human enough, but there's this unmistakable, sinister vibe surrounding her. It's hard to shake the feeling that something dark is at play. She's holding a white piece of paper, and she's licking it. Her other hand is caked in mud, as if she's been digging or performing some kind of ritual. It honestly feels like we've just stumbled upon her in the middle of some witchcraft ceremony. Now sure, if we take a skeptical look, maybe she's dealing with some mental health issues, or perhaps she's under the influence of something. But the way she moves, the way she seems to know what she's doing, it's hard not to believe she's deep into some dark magic or voodoo ritual. For more interesting footage, check this out.